Welcome to Healthy Lifestyle with Lorianne. I am Lorianne Casdia. Our goal here at Healthy Lifestyle is to inspire, educate, and empower you to fulfill a healthy, emotional, spiritual, and physical life so you can feel empowered to live the life you have always wanted and dreamed. Welcome to the show. You guys know me as Coach Lorianne. I am a life and business transformational success coach, a #1 international bestseller, selling author, that is, an award-winning inspirational speaker, and of course, a humanitarian. And it lights me up to illuminate, educate, and empower, inspire, and ignite people to find and embrace their life purpose, live their highest vision, and forge a strong foundation to soar to success. And for more information about how to work with me and my team, just visit us at ldcstrategies.com or loriannecasdia.com or coachlorianne.com. We're all pointing to the same place, so not a big deal. On Healthy Lifestyle today, we're going to give you some verbal caffeine to light you up with possibilities. And today on the show, we have Walt Thiessen from LOA Today. Outstanding human I met a couple of weeks ago. Love having you on the show. Welcome to the show, Walt. Really happy to have you here.
Oh my goodness! I mean, after that introduction, first of all, I'm like enlightened to go, sign up with you, from being my coach. For goodness sake, with that kind of intro, like how could somebody not sign up with you? But no, seriously, I love this. Thank you so much for having me on the show today.
I'm so happy to have you on the show. And LOA Today is a podcast, right? It's primarily about feeling better every day of your life, and nominally about the law of attraction, which is LOA, law of attraction. But you don't actually mention that topic very often, and usually you're talking about life because law of attraction touches life, right? Every area of human life every day. And I love that it's about living in abundance, like living our abundance. It's about what makes up an abundant life and what we can do when we encounter blocks and barriers along the way, which we all do, right?
Sure.
Those challenges. And it's about mindset. And it's always, I love this part, it's always about joy, right? And I love the connection that you make with everybody. So let's talk about your LOA Today podcast. It is so yummy. I love it. I absolutely love it.
Thank you. Yeah. Well, having you on was yummy. That was a wonderful show when you appeared with me, and I had a great time. Yeah, really, really wonderful. But yeah, I've been fortunate enough to do this for a little over 10 years now. And fortune actually did play a role in both directions, because you can have good fortune, you can have bad fortune. It's like the old, the parable about good luck, bad luck, who knows, right? The Chinese farmer one. Yeah. It's the same kind of deal. When I got started, I started for me, and I started at a time when podcasts were just they kind of gotten going a little bit. They hadn't really gotten very far. Zoom didn't exist. The other platforms didn't exist yet. You kind of had to figure it out on your own. I was lucky. I had an IT background, so I could figure that stuff out. But I started it because I've been an entrepreneur since 1995 part-time, 2002 full-time. And when the 2008 financial crisis came along, my business became toast instantly. And I was not in mortgages. I was not in real estate. I had nothing to do with what that was all about. I was what they call collateral damage.
Yeah.
Literally, my entire business. Yeah, my entire clientele got wiped out. My clientele were very small local nonprofit organizations around the country. And of course, in a financial crisis, nobody gives money to local nonprofit organizations. In fact, their government sponsors usually write them out of business, which is exactly what happened. So my business went poof. And my wife had a gardening business. Her business went poof, and like everything just disappeared instantly. And for the next 4 years, we were just in scramble mode trying to survive. The savings disappeared, deep in debt, all the worst possible nightmares that you can have.
Yeah.
And the thing that really confused, it's awful. And the thing that confused me the most was I wasn't doing anything different.
Yeah.
I was doing what I had always been taught to do and what had seemingly worked before. And I didn't understand why it wasn't working anymore.
Yeah.
So I started the podcast figuring, well, I need help. And I can't even afford to hire a coach now. And that was not even in a realm of possibilities. I couldn't even afford to buy a self-help book. I mean, it was really bad.
Yeah.
So I figured, well, I'll start the podcast and I'll bring on all these people who've been successful and they can teach me what it is that I need to know. And it worked. It worked great. And it led to a series of shows over the next few years where we explored this law of attraction idea in depth, because that was a big piece of what I was missing. I didn't understand how important the mindset was.
Oh my God.
That was the part that was really, really big. So anyway, 400 or 500 episodes later, I kind of figured we'd covered law of attraction by then. But there was an unexpected side benefit, which was I love doing this stuff. This is fun. And I'm meeting all these great people and they're teaching me all this stuff. And oh, by God, people are actually listening to this thing. I hadn't told you, I forgot with the podcast, people actually sign up to listen to the podcast.
That's kind of the point, Walt.
It sort of is. But in my case, it wasn't, though, because like I said, I was doing it for me. And then to find out there were other people going through similar kinds of things, having a similar viewpoint, similar mindset to mine. I was like, whoa, this is pretty cool stuff.
Yeah.
So I had to keep it going. And that's where I decided, well, law of attraction, like you said, it does touch every area of our lives. So let's just make it about that. And that's how it evolved.
Oh my gosh, that's a beautiful story. You know, so many things in there I could just wrap my mind around that. So like you gave me so many yummy elements and components. I'm like a kid in a candy store. I don't know where to start.
I know the feeling. Yeah, I do that all the time.
One of the things is, you know, with law of attraction, nothing is an accident. Everything is with purpose. And we all know source, universe, God, however you refer to your higher power, always has our back. So there was no accident that you started a podcast. There was no accident that you had the tools that you did to be able to do the podcast when podcasts really weren't a thing yet. And also cutting edge. You're so cutting edge. You have been all along to be able to do that shift. So big applause for making that shift. And it's out of necessity you made the shift, but you made the shift. And I want to point that out to people because some people are right now are feeling really concerned. And it's like, you can make the shift. You just have to kind of ease into it and understand and trust that you will make the right shift. And then you find this fun stuff. Like you have a ball doing this. I can tell you love
I do. Oh God. Yes. I can hardly wait I've done almost 2,000 episodes and that's not enough.
Wow.
Like this.
I thought it was pretty cool that I'm in season 6 I'm in season 6 and I'm like, how cool am I? And then I meet you and I'm like, I'm not that cool. But
you're very cool. Don't tell me otherwise. You're extremely cool.
But it's great to be able to positively impact somebody else. And the law of attraction, if you're not familiar with law of attraction, is, you know, what we think is what we bring in. We call things into us. So if we're thinking negative things, we're going to call more negative in. It's like attracts like, right? So you're thinking negative, you're going to see more negative. And that's where people go, see, I told you it would happen. Well, yeah. Hold it in. Of course it's going to happen. So it's about mindset. And it's funny that you bring up mindset because part of, I discovered Super Bowl syndrome and we talk about your bounce, you know, what is your bounce? Right. And the higher your bounce, the more symptoms you have of Super Bowl syndrome. It's not a bad thing. It's, you know, you don't have to take any antibiotics. It's just once you know that that's what your energetics are, it allows you to understand why you're not getting out of the box. It allows you to harness that energy. And I teach people how to harness that energy so that they can really feel successful and be successful, even though they are while they're doing what they're doing. But remember Super Bowls, these little bouncy things.
Oh yeah, sure.
They seemingly go all over the place, out of control. It looks like a hot mess, right?
Right.
But it really isn't, because if you watch Super Bowls, there's really a pattern to the trajectory and why it's doing what it's doing. So all I learned was I needed to just take it and harness that energy. So if you take the same Super Bowl and I throw it directly to you, it will get to you because it's done with intention. Right. So that kind of intention is important for the law of attraction, but that also goes back to mindset, like you're talking about. Mindset is just something, it's a behavioral change. So what are beliefs? Beliefs are thoughts we think over and over again, right? Mm-hmm. So we can change those thoughts if we choose to, and it's about choice. Nothing you do or any decision you make or any action you take is wrong. It just sends you in a different direction and comes with different, we'll say, circumstances. Some are good, some are not so good. Some are what are desirable and some are not what we intended. So it's just about no action we take is for naught. Like you decided to do this. didn't know you were going to be able to do this and learn from it. Brilliant thought pattern behind it. Your mindset was, well, I have a problem. I can't solve it this way because I don't have the money to solve it this way. So I'm going to do this. Brilliant. Brilliant. You solved the problem, and that projected you into speaking to a gazillion people, clearly, over 2,000 podcasts, and have all these followers. And you actually have a team too.
I do. Yeah. I have co-hosts. I mean, I have a team of co-hosts. I have a stream of guests that come through. It's never a lack of people to talk to. That's one of the things I love the most. Talk about law of attraction. I mean, it's gotten to the point now, I don't even have to think about it. They just kind of show up. They're just there.
But that's a funny thing. That's how it works. That's how law of attraction works. You think about it and then you leave it alone. Don't dwell on it. Don't hold tight to it. You just think about it and you put it out there. It's like, this is your wish list, and you put it like look at putting it into like a little bucket, and it sits in the bucket, and then universe picks it up and says, oh, they wanted this. Let me give that to you. Because the law says it has to give you what you want. It's just, you have to be very specific. So if I say the law of attraction, I want to make more money, it'll give me $1. That's more money. That counts.
Well, and not only that, you also made reference to something really important earlier on. You talked about the importance of trust. And when you're in the very early stages, like when I first started the podcast, like I said, I was deep in debt. All the savings was gone. I was feeling desperate. I was not in a positive mindset at all. I was trying to find some way to turn it around. I hope that this whole podcast thing, which was kind of a lark, might actually do something, but I didn't know what it was going to do. I couldn't see how it could actually work, other than maybe, like you said, give me some good teaching that might help me to break through all this stuff. But I couldn't see the root. And that's where the trust came in. It's not, and it wasn't like, okay, I'm going to just trust for this to work. It wasn't like that. It was more like, I don't know what else to do, so I'm going to trust this. I'm out of ideas right now, so I'll just kind of leave this out there. Maybe this can actually do something. It was that.
Yes, but you came up with that idea, and don't think that was done accidentally.
Oh,
you
yeah.
came up with that idea. There was a reason and purpose behind it. That's part of your purpose, is to communicate with people and allow other people to get your yumminess when they listen to,
Absolutely. Oh, no, I was just trying to make the point that if I had tried to go at this in terms of, okay, this is going to be the solution, I probably would have undermined myself. That would have been those blocks that you were talking about.
Yes, absolutely. And we throw those roadblocks in front of us. Yeah. It's a really amazing how we allow some people to say something to us and it stops us from doing what we want to do. One person's opinion, one person's view. I did it.
Take much.
Yeah. I did it years ago. I think we talked about it last time, where I used to be a studio singer, and this vice president said how good I was and going to give me a contract. And then, of course, came on to me and I was like, no. And then I was the worst performer ever in his. And I bought into it, and I took my own voice away for 10 years. No. Shame on me. I allowed that one person to block my dream. And
it's so easy to do, though. That's the thing.
Yes.
It's really so easy. And the harder step is just saying, I don't know if this is the answer. It may not even be the answer. This one that I'm trying right now may not play out, but maybe it leads me to the one that leads me to the one that does play out. And I don't know where that's going to happen.
Yeah. But that's going for the ride, and that's trust, going back to
that's the trust.
Trusting inside of what you're doing and trusting that it'll all work out. And I know that it sounds so simple, but it really is that simple.
It really is. Yeah. And the funny thing is, when you're in the midst of it, and you tell me if this was true for you when you were dealing with your stuff. For me, now, first of all, I had no trust in my own inner dialogue at that point. I had not developed that at all.
Me too.
And yet I did have this, I couldn't call it a feeling, well, sort of a feeling. I had the sense that it was somehow right. It was somehow a good thing.
We call that intuition.
That's intuition. But I didn't know it was intuition.
Yes.
That's my point. If you get a feeling that somehow it's right, follow it.
Yeah, there's that yummy feel. It's a good feeling. It's just like, I don't know why, but I feel like doing that. Have you ever sat there and go, I need to go back into the house. I'm not sure why. Oh, sure. The good thing I did because blah, blah, blah. That's intuition. That's right. Listening to our inner self, our inner guidance that will lead us the right way if we pay attention. And our society tries to separate us from our intuition and makes everything external.
In fact, that's a good clue right there, what you just said. Because if you have this feeling inside and something outside, a person, society,